Public creates a fund for the development of the electricity sector in Cameroon with ambition to boost energy supply and engine the country's industrialization plan. The Minister of Territorial Administration restricts the sale and purchase of bladed arms in the northwest and southwest regions with firm instructions for the regional governors to oversee their strict implementation. Members of the Electoral Board of Elections of Cameroon's elections watchdog laid the groundwork for the journey to eternity of one of theirs, Delphine Changa, pioneer female minister in Cameroon whose remains will be laid to rest on Saturday. Those are our lead stories. Hello everyone and welcome to the 7:30 News. I am Ben Menopofong.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
Thanks for joining us. The electricity sector in Cameroon may be off to a promising future as a presidential decree signed yesterday has set up a fund to enhance the development of the sector in the country. The fund that has been placed under the supervision or the supervisory authority of the Ministry of Water and Energy will enable the state mobilize the necessary financial resources to execute projects to boost the volume of energy supply in Cameroon. Crise Takang has been reading through the text and is here with its main tenets.
The fund comes in response to difficulties observed to step up the production, transportation and supply of electricity. In this regard, therefore, its overall goal is to finance all activities related to electricity development. The presidential decree creating and organizing the development fund for the electricity sector equally spells out the missions which have to do with public policies, promotion of investments, follow-up and regulation, as well as human resources.
This decree will help our government to start the feasibility study of new projects to satisfy the demand of electricity. For the household, this decree means that electricity rate cannot increase. Government will raise money to permit to start immediately maturation of new production projects.
The special appropriation account will be expecting funds from a number of sources shared between the state and licensed electricity operators. The budget and priority works are subject to the prior approval of the President of the Republic. The public money will be spent via 5 counters, which are all connected to the purpose to be accomplished or project to be executed, in line with the missions of the fund, which has as authorizing officer the Minister of Water and Energy.
Cameroon's electricity utility facility Enno is breeding frustration in its customers with its billing system that goes galloping every month end. From the month of June till today, the bills have been on a steady climb without any corresponding justification from Enno for the constant hike. To most of the clients, they are being compelled to foot bills that do not reflect their monthly consumption. Constantine Baum now reports on the brewing standoff between Enno and its customers, whom he says are yet to benefit from the protection of the regulator.
From the month of June, ordinary customers have been raising questions on the Enno's monthly billing system.
I realized that our bills were excessively very high compared to the previous bills we used to have. A calculator 50, a kilowatt at 50. Another time you will see they will come to 79, 80, 85, so I don't really understand.
The coronavirus threat caused Enno to introduce a new reading system that consists of reading the meters once every 2 or 3 months.
The bills are getting higher and higher. I don't just understand. This month you have another bill, the next month you have another bill without adding any appliances in the house.
We don't see them when the agents come to read our meters. And the bills are not static. They fluctuate in a very wide range. That makes us to ponder if what they are doing is correct.
We took these worries to Enno.
Normally, estimation in the system not part of our bill, but it happened that within our practices, we started experimenting some activity on 30% of our customers.
Enno has already received complaints and is now working to bring the estimate much closer to actual consumption. However, the company should involve customers in meter reading by permitting them take pictures and send with the actual reading.
The Commission of Central African Forest, COMIFAC, will in the coming months recruit permanent staff for the running of its activities. This was the main resolution arrived at today during an extraordinary session held via video conference. The extraordinary session, chaired by Cameroon's Minister of Forestry and Wildlife, Jules Dorendongo, who also doubles as COMIFAC's president, brought together ministers of forestry from the different Central African countries. Here is an excerpt of Minister Jules Dorendongo as he spoke to our reporter Raihanatu Sali.
We have decided to launch the process of recruitment of permanent personnel by February 2021. We have also decided to replace all the statutory personnel, that is the executive secretary, his assistant, and the head of administrative and financial department. Then we have good news concerning the organization by RDC of the third summit of the head of state and head of government of our organization. It will take place and we are very happy.
Public Works Minister has urged contractors working on roads in the Upper Sanaga division to work diligently and ensure that projects are completed on scheduled dates. Emmanuel Nganu Jumesi was speaking today as he embarked on an inspection tour, first of the Kolesong Ding stretch, where work had resumed after several months of interruption, and then the Ding Bagba Mbet stretch, where work is progressing on a satisfactory note. Joyce Kimbi Frowajo was with the minister in the field.
Base code being laid on the remaining 11 kilometers of the Kolesong Deng Road construction. This in response to an earlier ultimatum given the Chinese company to finish on time. Satisfaction of the supervisory authority.
I've noticed that they have really mobilized themselves. They are almost through. When the bitumen shall be available, then we will have the work entirely completed.
Minta Bridge construction is near completion, and then Deng Bakba Road is already tarred while bulldozing is advanced on the Makba Mbet stretch. Construction company is appreciated.
I have congratulated Burns because Burns is performing very well also, although the contract with Burns is not yet available.
Hurdles like the non-payment of bills and the absence of tar were addressed at this working session. The mayor and his population jubilate as they mirror development already coming with the roads.
Prime Minister Joseph Dion-Gute has instructed the promotion of the use of locally fabricated face masks, not only as a means of mitigating the spread of COVID-19, but also of promoting local craftsmanship. The Prime Minister was speaking in Yaoundé today as he chaired the weekly interministerial meeting to evaluate government's response or riposte strategy against COVID-19. Our Star Building correspondent Christian Che Atam reports today's session also focused on the public-private platform to encourage economic recovery.
The evaluation meeting established that the current count for COVID-19 infection in Cameroon stands at the cumulative number of 18,662 positive cases with a recovery rate of 91.2%. Prime Minister Joseph Dion-Gute and members of the committee also evaluated the progress of activities of the public-private platform to promote economic recovery.
We have already taken some measures as far as the sector of perfumes is concerned. They think that for this year and even the year coming, they are going to recruit some more personnel.
The session also examined the participation of Cameroonian craft workers in the production of face masks.
Our ministerial department has been organizing some sensitization campaign to ensure that whatever is put on the market conform.
At the end of the meeting, Prime Minister Joseph John Gute gave instructions for the continuation of wide-scale testing for COVID-19 in Cameroon, the acceleration of activities of the public-private platform to promote economic recovery, as well as the follow-up of craft workers in the country.
Cameroon is due to submit a report on the measures it has taken to facilitate the implementation of the International Labour Organization conventions it has ratified. A tripartite meeting grouping the ILO officials, government representatives as well as trade union workers held in Yaoundé today to enrich the content of the report. Amanda Mejia Canadas is the ILO representative in Cameroon. She told our reporter Beatrice Losamba why the International Labour Organization is laying emphasis on seafarers and layoffs.
Right now, we're accompanying the country in the drafting of its reports concerning 2 conventions on freedom of association and collective bargaining, 1 convention on dismissal, 4 conventions on seafarers. We are dealing with 2 fundamental conventions concerning freedom of association and collective bargaining. So most of it has to do with certain practices. Questions are being asked and information is being requested. Some of them have to do with existing legislation, the need to review the statute book.
460 police inspectors and 182 police constables who have come to the end of their training at the National Police Training School in Mutengene have expressed confidence that the training received will enable them effectively respond to the security challenges that Cameroon is facing today. They were speaking during their graduation ceremony that took place at the school premises yesterday. The ceremony was presided over by the Delegate General for National Security, Martin Barngangele. Charles Abuno reports from CRTV Southwest.
Some of those graduating were admitted at the National Police Training School in the year 2018, while some others enrolled in the year 2019. Speaking at the occasion, authorities of the institution said that the training that has been given has armed their senior cadet officers and police constables, those who distinguished themselves practically and academically during the training, were congratulated and honored by the Delegate General for National Security, Martin Bangangele. The new senior cadet officers and police constables were officially handed the Code of Ethics and Deontology during the ceremony.
My greatest dream has always been to serve people, so there's a lot of enthusiasm to meet people in the field and then to kill that thought that people have in minds that a policeman is someone who's bad.
The graduation ceremony was conducted in strict respect of the barrier measures against the COVID-19 pandemic.
In our Thursday from the regions tonight, we talk about birth certificates and children in the east region of the country. And that region of the country is currently ranked 8th on the National Civil Status Registration Office as the region with the lowest birth registration rate in Cameroon. Even though the population continues to grow, only 60% of the population own birth certificates, a big worry to the local administration who continue with sensitization campaigns to encourage parents and guardians to obtain the vital document for their children. Tala LT has the nature of the birth certificate situation in the East region.
Statistics made public by the National Civil Status Registration Office, BUNEC, in the East region reveal that only 60% of the population own birth certificates. This sad situation is clearly visible in the subdivision of Manjung, a stone throw from the town of Betwa, where barely 30% of its 71,000 inhabitants can boast of an original birth certificate.
The problem
is not only that of birth declaration. We have grown-up men who roam the streets without a birth certificate.
Since its implantation in the East region in 2017, BRINEC has been trying to find the root causes of the low level of birth registration, which its regional director outlined.
A few number of civil status registration personnel, the few available personnel have not undergone a proper training. We also have the problem of long distances between civil status registration centers in this largest region, which has only 191 centers.
In spite of these difficulties encountered, the government and its partners in development have for the past years been sparing no efforts in making sure every child born in the East region has an original birth certificate.
Let's now look at some of the measures that government is taking to assist the population to get that vital document. And the government of Cameroon, some national and international partners continue to make efforts to remedy the situation, especially for those in the East region. Mokum Robert Ashu visited some of the structures involved in the exercise to see what efforts are being made to encourage the people in obtaining the birth certificates for their children.
Agency of the National Civil Status Registration Office is the main structure through which the Cameroon government, in partnership with some NGOs and other partners, is leaving no stone unturned to boost the level of registration and establishment of birth certificates in the East region. The Manjo Council is one of the localities with the lowest rate of establishment of birth certificates. To boost the rate, the council executive has embarked on a field sensitization campaign. We have put in place a sensitization team that works almost daily, that sensitizes parents to register their children. Also involved in sensitization campaigns is the Angola Foundation, who let the citizens know the place of a birth certificate because it is a very important document. Other local and international NGOs either carry out field sensitization campaigns to boost the rate of registration and establishment of birth certificates in the East region.
The sale, purchase and possession of machetes, axes and iron rods has been restricted in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. The restriction order has been signed by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, with firm instructions to the governors of the two regions to ensure its immediate implementation. As Ebenezer Akanga reports, the decision has been triggered by the rising wave of manslaughter being perpetrated in the two regions by separatist hoodlums. Ebenezer?
Of recent, the brutal killings which have been carried out by separatist fighters in the northwest and southwest regions have been done using light weapons. Machetes and axes are used to hack people. Building iron rods are used to manufacture ammunition and explosives. It is in a bid to curb the use of light weapons by separatist fighters in committing atrocities that the Minister of Territorial Administration has instructed the governors of the two regions to restrict their sale, purchase and possession. Concretely, administrative authorities have been instructed to do an inventory of stocks of machetes, axes and building iron rods in the administrative units. Anyone wishing to purchase a machete must obtain authorization from the divisional officer with proof that he
gouvernement de Yaoundé, Fouda, a entendu ça. Il a appelé Mbaké.
Further identify and localize buyers before sales.
All the economic operators in the sector here in Bamenda to send to them the instruction for the Minister of Territorial Administration regulating the selling of iron and some other equipment.
As security challenges abound, administrative and security forces stand their grounds.
When we are sitting here today, we were informed of an incident occurred in a bus where an explosive exploded, and the security services are now carrying on vacation.
Operators in iron objects have decided to join the fight against insecurity in the region. The governor warns that anyone who violates these measures that will run for 4 months will be severely sanctioned.
We should bear in mind that negligence by a single individual can seriously harm the entire community.
As the number of COVID-19 cases cross the 18,000 mark in Cameroon, health professionals in the country are now currently preoccupied with the treating of the over 1,000 active cases so as to slow the spread of the pandemic across the country. However, tonight, Baldwin Sama and his guest, Dr. Aliman Piki, will be updating us on the situation of the pandemic in Cameroon today and COVID-19 and respiratory allergies among children. Hello, Baldwin. COVID-19 and respiratory allergies among children. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening, Ben Menopufong, and from the Public Health Emergency Operations Center this evening, we confirm the figures just announced a while ago that so far in Cameroon, we have had 18,662 confirmed cases of persons tested positive for COVID-19. 17,065 Cameroonians have recovered from COVID-19, taking the recovery rate to 91.4% so far in the country. We have had 408 persons who have died of COVID-19, and so far in Cameroon, we have 1,189 active cases for COVID-19 in the 10 different regions of the country. And as you said a while ago, our guest tonight is Dr. Aliman Piki. She is a pediatrician, and we shall be looking at how vulnerable some children are vis-a-vis some respiratory allergies and COVID-19. Good evening, doctor.
Good evening, Barbie.
Tell us, doctor, it's noticed that some respiratory allergies are common with children, such as sneezing. How does one make a difference between some of these respiratory allergies and COVID-19 symptoms for children?
As you rightly said, Baldwin, respiratory allergies and COVID-19 both affect the respiratory system. They are thus going to have similar signs such as running nose and itchy eyes, which are only common for allergies. However, the other symptoms will be difficult to make a difference just by looking at the patient. Reason why we advise mothers who have children who present with any of those respiratory symptoms to take the child to the nearest hospital where a healthcare giver will be able to examine the child and tell them what to do.
Doctor, do these symptoms make these children vulnerable to COVID-19?
Every child is susceptible to catch COVID-19. However, those who have respiratory problems, chronic respiratory problems such as allergies, have a higher risk of developing severe forms of COVID-19. Reason why they are advised to respect even more the hygienic measures such as wearing their mask as from 3 years old, washing their hands regularly. This is not only going to protect them from COVID-19, but it's also going to protect them from the allergens, the dust and other particles that will provoke their allergies and make it even worse.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aliman Piki, for being our guest this evening. We remind our viewers that you are a pediatrician, and to confirm the figures of tonight, 18,662 Cameroonians have been tested positive for COVID-19. Over 17,065 Cameroonians have recovered from COVID-19, taking the percentage of recovery to 91.4%, and 408 Cameroonians have died of COVID-19, with 1,189 active cases for COVID-19 existing in our 10 different regions. Back to you, Ben Menopufo.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama, for those updates. It is appreciated. Members of the Electoral Board of Ileka met in an extraordinary session in Yaoundé today to prepare for the burial of one of theirs, Delphine Changa. The 85-year-old pioneer female minister in Cameroon died on the 16th of July 2020 in Yaoundé. Her remains will be coffined tomorrow for burial on Saturday. Details with Ebenezer Akanga.
This extraordinary session of the Electoral Board of Elecam had only one item on its agenda: preparations for the burial ceremony of Delphine Changa. The session was presided over by the chairman of the Electoral Board of Elecam, Enno Abrams-Egbe, and attended by the Director General of Elections, Eric Esusi. A condolence book has been opened at the headquarters of Elecam. Delphine Changa was member of the Electoral Board of Elecam until her death. After the extraordinary session, the members of the Electoral Board of Elecam paid a visit to the residence of the deceased in the Bastos neighborhood in Yaoundé. Meanwhile, preparations were being done at her residence for a wakekeeping without corpse. Her remains will be coffined this Friday in the mortuary of the referral hospital in Yaoundé and buried on Saturday in her native Mesebe village in Bankumu subdivision. Delphine Changa died on July 16, 2020 at 85 years. She was the first woman to be appointed minister in Cameroon.
Given that the COVID-19 pandemic has imposed restrictions on the activities that holiday makers generally indulge in, anthropologists are proposing that parents take advantage of this interval to enable their children discover their culture and develop other skills in other informal sectors. In the fourth of our series on holidays and holiday activities, our reporter Romeo Nkenye went observing the alternative modes of distraction that holiday makers now indulge in.
Leisure parks, entertainment, sport, and travel agencies are not witnessing the usual affluence of holiday makers these vacations. This has been imposed by the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic, but anthropologists hold that there are alternative ways to make the holidays more interesting for the kids.
There are even constructive games that are educative, that can be given to smaller children. Bigger children can be given tasks like maybe going to the farm.
I think we must catch this opportunity and let them go back home, see exactly how their grandfathers are running their daily life.
Holiday classes are equally prohibited this time around, yet parents have sought out different strategies to cope with the circumstance.
I give them more ample time to watch these cartoons on TV, maybe get them toys, even football for them to play around, just around the compound.
We use the internet now to educate our children.
However, not the same parental follow-up is given to all kids. Others are using this period to do petty trade.
The Cameroon Water Utility Corporation, CamWater, has presented its new water consumption project known as the Smart Metering System. The project was presented by officials of CamWater to its partners, representatives of consumer organizations and the press in the presence of its general manager, Gervais Bolenga. Details with Mercy Asho Nyaboyu from Douala.
A smart metering system. This is how officials of the Cameroon Water Utilities Corporation have coined the new technological tool that will be used to measure the volume of water consumed by households in Cameroon. A project presented to consumers, representatives, partners of CamWater and the press in Douala, which according to many observers is a welcome initiative, yet with many unanswered questions.
Is billing clients if we don't have access to their meters. So with the new technology, it will be automatic because the meters are electronic. Secondly, the client has the possibility to see how much water they consume and budget for this.
We
appreciate this initiative, which is many advantages. We hope that the billing will be accurate when our agents come on the field, and it will be better than the old meters.
Be it prepaid or postpaid, payments of bills will be made online with limited visits made by CamWater agents for maintenance and control. From the look of things, intense campaigns to sensitize consumers need to be done in the days ahead.
That's where we end this edition of the 7:30 News for today and for the week. Thanks for the pleasure of your company, and see you on Monday, 7:30.
Each of us must comply with the measure